أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين وبه نستعين والصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين سيدنا ونبينا بالقاسم محمد وعلى إترة الطيبين الطاهرين المعصومين اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد وعجل فرجهم أما بعد السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. Today is the third of the Back to Basics series that we're doing, and this is to remind us of the fiqh rulings of Salah and its prerequisites. Up to now we've looked at wuzu, Jabira wuzu, and today we will be looking at Tayammum. And we are doing this in the lead up to the Shahadat day of Imam Jaffer Sadiq alayhi salam, because we have the Jafri faith. We are of the Jafri faith, where we have got most of our fiqh from Imam Jaffer Sadiq alayhi salam, and in order to remember him and honor him, we want to make sure that we are doing our wajibat correctly. So I will literally be looking at the wajib aspects mostly, as much as is possible, and according to Ayatul Sistani, inshallah. So looking at Tayammum, I'm going to refer you back to the verse in Surah Maida, which is Surah number 5, verse 6, where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala starts off talking about wuzu, and we looked at that when we looked at wuzu. And then he goes on to talk about the fact that if you're sick or on a journey, and then this is the bit that I want to concentrate on today, which is the bit that's highlighted, where he says, أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم فلم تجدوا ماء فتيمموا صعيدا طيبا فامسحوا بوجوهكم وأيديكم منه. And you cannot find water, and if you cannot find water, betake yourselves to pure earth, and wipe a part of your faces and a part of your hands. So this is the whole concept of tayammum, and Allah actually refers to the fact that if we can't find water, then we do what is called a wiping with using earth, pure earth, on our faces and our hands. I'm going to look at it in a little bit more detail. So Allah mentioned when we would do tayammum, and He specifically mentioned when we can't find water. But what I want to look at is not only when we can't find water, but the other reasons why also we are allowed to do tayammum. So with any ruling in fiqh, when it causes unbearable hardship or harm to us, then we are exempt from that ruling. There is a different way we would do it, and it may fulfill the fiqh of it. So here, where would the unbearable hardship or harm come in? The unbearable hardship may be in actually not being able to get the water. So if I'm really old or weak and I'm not able to, and I don't have water coming out of the tap, and I may have to go to a well or something, it may cause unbearable hardship for me to get the water, and therefore I would then do tayammum instead of wuzu. It may cause unbearable hardship because of some sort of skin condition I have. And again, illness, when it comes to harm, it would be to do with any kind of illness. So if it makes me ill by using water, if I have an illness and it makes the illness worse, if it makes it difficult for the illness to be treated, if I use water, it could be any of these. And then I would do tayammum instead of wuzu or ghusl. And it's not even that I have to be 100% certain that I will get ill or it will make the illness worse. Even if there is a reasonable probability, a reasonable possibility that it will, then I am allowed to then not do wuzu or ghusl, but do tayammum instead. So looking at not being able to get water. Now, if there isn't, looking at not having enough water. If there isn't enough water for wuzu, then obviously I would do tayammum. But before I do tayammum, it is important that I try to find more water. I try to find it from wherever possible. But if I can't and there isn't enough for wuzu, then I would do tayammum. If there isn't enough for ghusl, then again I would do tayammum. If I have only enough water that I would need it to drink, and I feel very, very thirsty, and it will cause illness or hardship if I use that water for wudu, then obviously I would do tayammum. If I have some sort of najasat on my dress or on my body, and I only have enough water to use to remove that najasa, then I would use the water for that and I would do tayammum. If the water that I have is ghasbi water, which means I do not have permission to use it, or the container that the water is in, I don't have permission to use it, then I would do tayammum. And if there is not enough time, and this is probably the one that I think would relate to any of us living in the West, because generally we don't have problems with water and things like that. It may be to do with illness and things like that, but usually it would then be maybe Jabira wuzu that we would do. But to specifically do tayammum would probably be in a situation where we don't have enough time, and it not maybe not even wuzu, probably ghusl. We may not have enough time. But this can only work if the thing that we require to do tayammum on is close at hand. If I have to sit there and look for it or go out in the garden to try to find the soil and things like that, then it would take longer than to actually do the wuzu and tayammum. So what I need to do is make sure that I have a bag with soil in it, which I keep somewhere where it's easily accessible. And then if I ever need to use it for ghusl, for wuzu, in order to make sure that I pray on, get my prayer done in the time that I'm supposed to pray it, then I would do that. It's important that I recognize that if I can do the wajib aspects of the wuzu and the wajib aspects of the salah, then I cannot do tayammum. I should just do that. And we'll look at that in more detail when we look at salah. Okay. Before I move on, for whatever reason that I am doing the tayammum, once that reason expires, then that tayammum becomes void. So for example, if I have done ghusl because I didn't have enough time, if I have done tayammum because I didn't have enough time to do my ghusl, then for my next salah where I do have time, I am expected to do my ghusl. Okay, so the ghusl doesn't just wave away. I need to do it. So if I, for example, did tayammum for ghusl because there wasn't enough water, the minute there is enough water, then I'm expected to do that ghusl because that tayammum is no longer, it becomes void. Things on which tayammum is allowed. There are lots and lots of things that tayammum is allowed in. I'm not going to go into all of them. I'm just going to look at the specific one, which is soil. And all of us can get soil. It's very, very easy. You just take out the stones from it and keep that and use that. Okay. And we need to make sure that the soil is not najis. And again, if it's in the garden where the sun's got to it, so it will not be. So that will be fine. A lot of us grew up with being told that we could use dust from pillows. So I remember we were taught that you just bang your hands on the pillow and the dust, as long as dust comes out, then you can use that. That is not correct. If you are using dust, it has to be to such a quantity that it's considered as fine soil, and even then, it's better to use sand or earth or something like that. What is Aga says, based on obligatory precaution, the thing that you're using should have particles which would stick to your hands. And after you've struck your hands on the soil, then you shouldn't shake off the particles. You should the particles should remain on your hand as you do the tayammum. So how do we actually do the tayammum? So I'm going to actually show it to you, which will make it easier. So first we do the intention. And here you're actually saying that, I am doing tayammum qurbatan ilallah. It is not necessary for you actually to say, specify whether you're doing it for ghusl or wudu. You don't have to, but you can do. Before you start, you need to make sure that you remove everything that is an obstruction on your hands and on your forehead, because that's where the wudu is done. So I need to remove all my rings. I need to take off all my rings. I need to make sure that if I need to put my sleeves up so that up to my wrist is showing, is free of obstruction. Then I make my niyyah. I'm doing tayammum qurbatan ilallah. Then I strike both my hands together, both my palms together on the soil, and then I move the soil, and notice how it's got the particles on it. I don't wipe it off. I start from the top of my forehead where the hair grows. So make sure my scarf and nothing's in the way. And then I move downwards towards my eyebrows. And then obligatory precaution is to move my hands to the right ear and then to the left ear and then back to the middle. And recommended precaution is I move it past the eyebrows to the tip of my nose. And then I move my left hand over the whole of my right hand and my right hand over the whole of my left hand. That is what is required. And then it is again recommended precaution. So mustahab to again strike my hands again on the earth and do the same thing on my hand. So move my left hand over my right hand and my right hand over my left hand. That is how wuzu is done. If I have done wuzu in order if I have done, sorry, that is how tayammum is done. If I have done tayammum for wuzu, then whatever will break my wuzu will break my tayammum. And if I have done tayammum for ghusl, whatever would break ghusl would break that tayammum. I hope this has made it a little bit more clearer, inshallah. And tomorrow we will look at ghusl, inshallah. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.